So I'm going to be moving on to another topic that was covered in the press this week, but I thought we should dig in deeper, as Rishi Sunak's maths teacher has been out in the press saying that Rishi has got it very wrong when it comes to compulsory maths lessons for people up to the age of 18. Now, this is something he mentioned in his first speech of 2023. He said the UK needed to reimagine its approach to numeracy and added he wanted young people to have the necessary math skills to feel confident with their finances and things like mortgage deals. That sounds fair enough, to be honest. But with ongoing industrial action, a cost of living crisis and record NHS backlogs, is this a worthwhile priority, or is it, like a circle, totally pointless? His former maths teacher certainly thinks so. So, still with me to debate this, our political commentator Emma Webb and former Labour MP Stephen Pound. Now, Emma, I'm not sure maths was your top subject at school, was it? But do you think you could have done with a little more coaching up to the age of 18?
You know me too well, Emily. As you know well, I can't count. But that's why, firstly, I would have been absolutely tortured to have been forced to do maths to 18. But I think this is actually very much like the situation with the NHS, because it's scratching the surface. Rishi is focusing his attention on post-16 education. Obviously, people don't have to continue their education to 18. People should be leaving school at 16 with the necessary mathematical skills. And I think that really he should be focusing his attention, firstly, not just on maths, but on the quality of education across the board, because he went to Winchester College. You know, as his own maths teacher has said, he had a very reified and privileged maths curriculum that most people not only haven't received themselves but can't access. We already have only 45% of schools around the country have a dedicated maths teacher, so there's a chronic shortage. So it's not clear how this would be practically possible. But there are also so many other problems in education. Camilla Tominey pointed out in the Telegraph that after lockdown and after the COVID measures, we have a serious problem with absenteeism in schools. So those students are not even getting maths in the first place, never mind post-16. So I think Rishi's priorities are all wrong here. And of course, people are getting a good maths education, but that needs to happen before the age of 16.
Yes, I think so. Concentrate on getting people literate and numerate before they leave school at 16 with no qualifications at all, which is the case for many, many children in this country, unfortunately. Stephen, are we perhaps being a bit harsh on Rishi?
Not nearly harsh.
He's done well out of a good maths education. He just wants everyone else to benefit.
Well, can I just say one quick thing? I'm sorry, I realise you're in charge here, but that point that came in from somebody from the Royal Navy talking about having the Royal Marines on board. I've hosted Royal Navy bootnecks on board ship, and I'm still very active in the Royal Naval Association. And believe you me, every day they talk about a body count, but it's the body count of our people, our men and women who were killed. You never, ever, ever talk about the people you did kill. You know, as Tim Collins said, we're not in the business of notches on the rifle butt. And I think Prince Harry really has crossed the line. He needs to be utterly ashamed of himself. On the maths thing, I mean, I can still remember my dad saying, remember, son, it's not the votes that count. It's the counting of the votes that counts. And there's a certain importance to do with that. But I think Rishi's actually made two fundamental, terrible mistakes here. Firstly, he's assumed that there's enough spare capacity in teaching. Well, my daughter's a high school teacher in Greenford. And if I said
Stephen, I'm going to have to push you to get to your point.
OK, point being, you can't load more work onto the teachers. And how are you going to persuade some recalcitrant 16-year-old who just wants to get out and learn a trade? You're going to have another 2 years of maths, stats and quadratic equations. I know what the answer would be around my way.
It's miserable for people. I feel like everyone reaches a ceiling when it comes to maths that you just can't go beyond if you're not of a mathematical mind. Anyway, thank you very much indeed. I was going to give you a maths problem, but we ran out of time there. Political commentator Emma Webb and former Labour MP Stephen Pound.